My name is Sonny Hollsopple. Sonny, S-O-N-N-Y, Hollsopple, H-O-L-S-O-P-P-L-E. On September 11th, I was 18 years old. I remember that morning, September 11th is my grandmother's birthday, and that morning, my boyfriend and I at the time was going to Pittsburgh. I believe we were going to the zoo, and we wanted to get up, wish my grandmother a happy birthday, and get to Pittsburgh and just have a nice day. And we stopped in at my grandmother's, and she had one of the morning shows on, I don't know what it was, and it came across, it showed the first tower getting hit. And being that age, it just didn't feel real. I didn't quite grasp the concept of what was going on. I'm there. My mom was a school bus driver for Shanksville, and she got done dropping her kids off and was back at the garage doing a check to make sure there was no kids on the bus, there was nothing left, and her boss came out and said, "You got to get back to the school. There's something going on." They didn't know at that time. They just said it's either an explosion or there's been an attack. Nobody knows the details. Their kids are getting dismissed. She had to go back to the school and get the children. She called us from the shop to tell us what was going on and that she was going to be getting the kids. She was going to be late. Well, I'm at my grandmother's, the second plane hit, and I was watching the live news and seeing the second plane come in. And as everything's unfolding, it seemed like forever, but I know it was only like 102 minutes or so from the time that the first got hit till the second went down. And shortly into the first one getting hit, talking to my grandmother, as the televised is on, you hear the thumps in the background. And like it really affects me now thinking about it, but they show the camera going up in the air and it's catching the people coming down. And it just, in my head, it was making me wonder what was going on, that these people, at that time I thought they were just falling, didn't understand what was going on. In the meantime, my mom's school bus route was on 93. It was, her run was the Flight 93 run. And she got to a point in her run that the FBI stopped her and the parents had to come to her bus to get the children from the bus. I can't remember the time frames exactly, but I left from my grandmother's and went to my parents' house, and my mom shortly arrived and was telling us everything that was going on. At this time, I didn't know about 93. It wasn't on the news yet. My mom came home and said a plane just went down in Shanksville because the children had to get picked up from her run, because at this time they just knew that the World Trade Centers got hit, the kids got dismissed, and nobody at that time knew exactly about the plane in 93. She just knew that her kids had to get picked up. When she got home, we all loaded up in the car and we went to the spot. And at that time, it looks nothing like it does today. There was a road, a little dirt road that went up to the strip cut that was directly behind the 93 crash site. And there was nobody on this road. They had no security. It wasn't blocked up. There was nothing. We went on the road and we got to come up behind, and you were just expecting to see this huge explosion and parts everywhere, and there was nothing. There was absolutely nothing there. It was literally a huge hole in the ground. The trees were on fire, and it was just charred all around the spot. And we're talking in the car, and it was, where's the plane? Maybe it's in the woods. Maybe it's in the ground. It was just not fathomable that a plane hit the ground and there's nothing. Your thoughts just went to those people and what is going on in our nation. What is the president going to do? What's our next step? And it was talking to people shortly after this, it was that feeling of anger and hate, and we gotta fight back, and we have to protect our country, and we gotta do what's right for all the people that just died. And there was just a lot of talk of war, what the next step was going to be. A lot of people didn't want to go to war, they didn't want more violence, but then there was a lot of people that did want war and want things to be made right for the people that lost their lives. It was where it was. September 11th was my grandmother's birthday. October 7th is my birthday. October 7th was the day that George Bush came on national television and declared that we are going to war. And it was so ironic that two huge events fell on dates of birth in my family. And it was just, like, it was just, like, excitement. There was a lot of people like, yes, we're going to go do right. It's just amazing how throughout the war people lost that sight, and then it was all, we have to bring our people home. We can't do this any longer. It kind of felt like people lost what we were there doing to begin with. They just kind of, it happened so long ago, they forgot about all the people that died, and it was no longer a thought. But then every anniversary, when they would do the 9/11, it was like, okay, this is what we're doing, this is what we're fighting for. And I actually, for the first time, sat down and watched all the Flight 93, 9/11 things they had on TV, and it definitely affected me differently than when I was an 18-year-old child. Watching what I saw on the television this time made me cry. And back then, I was one of the first and only people that actually got to see that crash site before everybody came in and investigated, and there was the different pictures on TV, and even we would go up every week after 93 hit, and how much the memorial would change. In the very beginning, it was just a chain link fence that people had pictures and letters and just messages and teddy bears from children. That was just a real heartfelt what people were trying to express for those that died and their families. And now it just turned into a huge landmark. It doesn't, going up there, it's nothing what the feeling was when it happened. It was true emotion and dedication and sorrow for those people that died. And now it just feels like, I can't even say the word exactly what it feels like, but it's not the same. I honestly feel that they should have left it the way it was and left the chain link fence and the real feelings and thoughts that were behind what those people were feeling. You don't feel that when you go there anymore. This is my story.